It's 1981 and the local arcade spot is your favorite place to be. Then word has it that Nintendo company just dropped a new cabinet in there. Donkey Kong, a name almost as famous as Super Mario. Most people know he's the ape, but during this time you play as Mario the Jumping Man trying to save the damsel, Pauline. A definite classic that holds up to this day, and I still can't beat it. Now I must preface, I grew up a PlayStation kid through and through, but I've owned Nintendo's handheld since the Gameboy Color up until the 3DS. As a kid, I couldn't tell you which I liked more, but as an adult, I always look back to my time as a young Nintendo fan with joy. The fact that handheld gaming hasn't fallen off since then as demonstrated by Nintendo's very own Switch, Valve's Steam Deck, and a potential PSP2 by Sony, there's always a core memory that doesn't escape my subconscious. Donkey Kong 1994. It's 1999, just at the cusp of Y2K. You're at a relative's birthday party and that awkward time between Christmas and New Year. The patio is full of life and music, but you're avoiding the noise inside on the living room couch with random adults occasionally stepping in to grab more ice from the freezer. You're playing Donkey Kong, a Game Boy title released in 1994, seemingly a modernized port of the original arcade title with some extra moves. Mario, or the plumber jumping man, can do backflips and a useful handstand double jump. As you're progressing through the levels and dying a few times here and there, the situation's not being helped with the distractions around since your cousin's too busy playing hide and seek with cousins on his side of the family, and kids telling you to pretend you didn't see them despite there being a goddamn device clearly melting your eyes off. But I digress. Finally, you beat it. Happy ending, fun time. Now let's see if there's room for one more in hide and seek. This was the first time I can remember being taken aback by a twist in video games. Just a simple gotcha moment that expands the game to what seems to be its real identity. A puzzle platformer where you simply retrieve the key, use tools, your movesets, anything at your disposal to save Pauline. Every world is similar in that you progress through 3 to 4 levels and fight DK. My favorites were the forest, ship, and the tower. It's a simple, yet addictive little game. With over 100 levels, the game now scales up the difficulty with interesting new worlds and challenges. Now let's take a moment and check out the soundtrack. Far from a perfect game, and there are some annoying ass levels, I'd still argue this is one of the best games Nintendo has in their Game Boy lineup. It's right up there with the Wario Land entries, as Nintendo kept porting their classics to their handhelds. It feels as if there was always something special bundled with it. Mario Bros. Deluxe had a map screen and level progression checklist. The GBA ports of the NES and Super Nintendo titles Also brought along some welcome additions like a 2-player Mario Bros. Classic port. I haven't really kept up with Nintendo since the late 2000s, but it's always nice to travel back in time to these great consoles. 10 years later, in 2004, a spiritual successor to Donkey Kong 94 was released. And as you know, the Switch will be having an HD remake release soon, or released or ready depending when I upload this. The game is more or less the same with its moveset, but it has new level structures, worlds, and puzzles that make it challenging. Namely, the color switches being a consistent mechanic through levels and boss fights. I believe it's a great handheld adventure, but that twist at the end doesn't quite hit the same as 94's did.
Hey, Donkey Kong, are you okay? Yeah. Stop! Not again! Here we go again!
Mostly because you had already trekked through 6 worlds, only to find out that a plus set of levels are now left to complete. And that's just it. This game is fine on its own, it has a lot of character, but I can't help but keep comparing it to its predecessor. Would I recommend it? Yeah, absolutely, and I will be playing the remaster. Oh, Christ almighty, Nintendo. Suffice to say, Donkey Kong 94 set a standard for Nintendo's future IPs, whether through gameplay mechanics or character traits. But it set a standard for me in enjoying surprises through innocuous presentation. I'm not sure if a Nintendo game has ever struck me the same way DK94 did, but I look forward to savoring more of these moments in video games and art in general. That's it for today, nerds. Till next time, your favorite cosmonaut, the Voyager.